Okay, so I'm going to introduce the speakers now after I let a couple of people in. Um, so we have two speakers on this call, which we're quite excited about. And we have Soumya, who's come from a massive corporate background. She is a growth advisor for growth stage businesses. She's got lots of experience, like 15 plus years of experience in JP Morgan, Citi, GEP. And now she's finally gotten out of the corporate world and has started instructing small and mid-sized businesses on, growth strategies, which is how we're here in this call. And her focus areas are ICP clarity, value propositioning, structured sales processes, a whole bunch of stuff. And she's got her MBA from NIMS, and she's also certified in PMP, Six Sigma, and all our AI tools, of course, which is why we're having this call. So I'm going to introduce both speakers now only. Tanisha is our other speaker. She's also from a corporate background, but her intersection is with business, technology, and people. She is working as a product manager in a FANG company, and she has
Neha,
15
can
plus.
we just can we move the slide
Oh,
also?
yeah,
I think
sorry.
it's, yeah,
Let me
stuck.
do that.
Thank you.
There we go. Thank you for pointing that out. So she's done 15 plus, AI and machine learning projects across global operations and supply chains. So a lot of AI background here. Her focus has been in computer vision, robotics, Gen AI applications. So, a whole bunch of different stuff, not just Gen AI. And I think it's really cool to see more women in this space, especially in the AI space, working in the technical side. She's got her MBA from SIBM Pune, and she's actually doing an AI leadership program right now with IIT Bombay. So, a lot of interesting stuff. I love the two speakers, and I love how they're working together, like from two different sectors and combining to make this awesome call for us. I really want to, first of all, thank you, guys, for joining in on a Saturday to have this workshop, to the attendees who've joined in, to the speakers. And I'm going to hand this over so that we can kickstart and not waste any more time because I know you have a lot to share.
Thanks, Neha, for that lovely introduction. I'll just take over the screen now. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, as Neha said, for making it on a Saturday morning. And I must say, we received a great response from everyone. And in your registration forms, you had spoken about your current challenges and what you're expecting out of this workshop. So first, let me welcome you to the AI for MSME workshop. So what we have heard from you is that about 50% of you want to start AI implementation, but you don't know where to start. And a lot of you are already using it and want a more defined journey. So I think it's a great platform for you to get started because we'll not only laying different demos and tool walkthroughs, but also create a learning pyramid and a roadmap for you to get started. And the outcomes that you're looking for, we have clearly mapped it with the agenda of the session, wherein we talk about, how to use AI to grow your business, how you can think about GTM with the power of AI. What are some practical use cases that you can just start implementing right from today? Also, how do you really get over that founder fatigue and founder bottleneck in the business with the help of AI? So without much ado, I'll just quickly take you through the agenda. First, we de-hype AI and we start talking about AI as a business decision. So we know most of us are business founders over here. So we'll not think of it more as a technology decision, but take a business lens on it. Then we will have a great chat with Soumya around how to use AI to grow sustainably. Are you ready to implement AI? Is it for you right now? And what would be a good AI GTM stack, that is go-to-market stack? How to do your prompt engineering? What are good frameworks? Then we move to some cool tool demos and walkthroughs. We talk about building digital employees. And then we finally conclude with a learning pyramid. And at the end, we'll take some questions. So are we good? Can I see some reactions? Great, perfect. So let's address the elephant in the room. I think all of you might be knowing what is AI, but let me take the liberty again to redo this. So just imagine AI as a complex human brain which has ability to learn, to reason, to recognize patterns, to solve and even self-correct. So you would say it's almost mimicking human intelligence, right? But I would say it is also equally important to understand what AI is not. So AI cannot really experience emotions the way humans do. They cannot practice empathy and morals. They lack originality and creativity, and they do not have
Hi, Kritika.
a perspective
Good
the way
morning.
we
Tell
do.
me,
Hi, good morning. So primarily, I would say
do you
these
want to
are
discuss
four
what she?
features. Can I request attendees to be
I've
on
muted
mute?
them. I've muted them. Don't worry. Go ahead.
Thanks, Neha. We'll have time for Q&A, guys. So these are some attributes which make humans truly human. While we may be familiar with theoretical definitions of AI, I would really urge to also, you know, create that bifurcation where a machine would succeed and where human touch or human intervention is very important, because that lays the foundation of entire workflow building or business implementation of AI. So now I would also address another major buzz that, why AI is being so talked about in recent times. What is this entire hype about AI? So what has happened is that this technology that was sitting in science lab, deep tech companies, this has been democratized. And why? Because people like you and me, maybe non-tech founders and other folks can now converse with it in natural language. So if you know Hindi, English, you know how to operate a mobile laptop, you can use Chat GPT and other tools, of course, and then solve multiple use cases without the requirement of, let's say, any technical folk or intervention. Right, so we see that spreading to all spheres of lives and sectors, be it healthcare, diagnostics, entertainment, education. Now, we've just discussed that, what really AI is from non-theoretical perspective. And here I would also want to discuss and decode some key terminologies which are very frequently interchanged, right? And why this is important, because all of us review various AI tools and subscriptions which list features, SaaS platforms which again come with their own features, and it is important to differentiate them. And the clarity with these terms will help us to make the right decisions while we are buying tech products or using them. So very simply, what is automation? So automation is just a rule-based process. Let's say if X happens, do Y. Let's take an example of a bakery store. So whenever I bill an invoice, I set a simple automation that send a reminder to the customer after 5 days. So if invoice is created, send a reminder. Simple automation, no intelligence required. Second, what is artificial intelligence or just simple intelligence? So it can recognize patterns and do analysis. Again, coming back to a bakery store. So if there is a customer so if I have sales data or I have customer data and I feed it into an LLM and ask it to recognize patterns, and it is providing me in-depth analysis along with the recommendations as to how I can optimize my inventory. In that scenario, it is applying this intelligence, but the decision making is still on me, right? Still not completely autonomous. Now, third concept is the AI agents, which we are just hearing in and out all the time now. So they handle the workflow much more autonomously for us. Now, coming back to the bakery store again. So whenever I receive an inquiry from the customer from multiple channels, there is an AI agent that would be sitting in my laptop. It would log all those inquiries very systematically for me. Then it will analyze them, right? Let's say which are the most urgent ones. Which text seems to be more, let's say, urgent, or customer is frustrated, or it could be a hot lead. And me as a founder, I do not have to review the 50 queries every day. It will escalate only the top five for me, and my bandwidth will go where it is supposed to go in terms of business outcome. So this is the basic, let's say, differentiation between these three terms. Now, once we have some conceptual clarity about the capabilities that are available today, let's also de-hype AI as a business decision. A lot of times we are confused, like what could be the task that I could automate with AI? Am I ready for it? Do I have the data? Is it too expensive? Who all would be required to, start implementing AI in my business? So let's clarify that a little as well. So any task that requires a lot of time, is repetitive in nature, requires very little judgment, and you usually want to delegate that. Also, the impact on real humans, let's say your stakeholders, is not very much or critical, then you can easily automate that and always have a human review in between. Second, the data readiness. So the data needs to be digitally available. Let's say your sales purchase data or your customer feedback, your content, your SOPs, customer profile. Only when it is digitally available, even if 80% is there, somewhat clean, you can get started easily. And I think in today's age, some of it is already digitally available. Thirdly, all these platforms today are not very expensive. Even with INR 600, 1100, 1200 per month, you can start getting very credible, secure, and multi-purpose subscriptions. And lastly, although you may buy tools, but then as a founder, if you're not getting your hands dirty, you will not see business outcomes and neither will you see good adoption from your team. So either you have to become that internal AI champion or someone in your team member who needs to keep experimenting with it, right? And also observe the ROI. And we know that in today's world, things are so complex and keep changing so fast. It is always a good practice to bring in an AI consultant as well, who can give you very guided and, let's say, practical advice on what could work and what could not work. Now, lastly, while we are doing all these activities, we need to be in check of certain guardrails or safety nets. So these are always review in the recommendations or the analysis of AI or whatever output you're generating, that it is free of hallucination and the model bias related to, let's say, culture or race or any other nuances like that. Secondly, if you're using very sensitive data, PII data, always, that is personally identifiable information, always use dummy data, mask the data, use summary instead of raw dump. If there's credit card information and stuff like that, be very mindful of it. Secondly, always proofread your data, do your fact check. Don't just use the recommendations of AI blindly. That is super important. And lastly, in most of the tools that we use, there are settings to turn off, improve model, or review the data exposure that is involved. So always have a check with that. And if ever you are feeling confused in your network itself, reach out to people who are very frequent with AI use or an expert who can guide you with that. So with this, we will now move on to Soumya, who will be discussing more about how to use AI and grow sustainably in your business. Soumya, over to you.
Thank you, Tanisha. It was pretty good to see the kind of guardrails that all the AI users must be ready to ensure before they start using it for the business. And thank you all for being such a lovely audience. And I like the emojis and keeping it interactive. So yes, we heard you all that GTM and scaling roadblocks, the number one or 50% of the population over here feels that founders themselves are the growth engines and themselves the bottleneck of their own growth. Secondly, the structured GTM system is missing. That is, we are putting in a lot of effort, but we don't know why we are still not scaling. And we are going to be covering all of these and help you understand how you can start changing your perspective or ways of working and get more efficient to get more leads. So let me share my question. Now, a lot of people here, the founders, believe that before investing in sales effort, how should a founder assess whether they are ready to scale or not? And I think this is the number one problem that all of us would have before coming to this workshop. So this is going to be covering at least the 50% of the problem statements that we've heard from you all. So I'll start with an example, and this is a very, very common issue that we have with the founders. So, one of the 50, 60 million revenue company, tech company, the founders saw that one of their competitors is using a particular lead generation tool that is giving them hot leads, and they are able to close not only more deals but in lesser time. So, without doing further research, they just got on the same tool, thinking that they will have more contacts, they will have more outreach to their customer database, they will have more personalized emails, in turn which would lead to more meetings. And then what was the reality? Yes, there were a lot of high volume emails, there were, but still the response was low and the quality was not there in those leads that were being generated. Now the reason for all of this is what? That they did not have the right strategy in place. Their emails were vague. They were sent to everyone, which may or may not be even their customer or prospects. They did not differentiate themselves versus their competition well. And there was no proper system. It doesn't have to be a technology system. It also has to be a people system, a process to manage the replies, the responses. And what happens? The tool gets blamed in such cases. So in turn, what we want to share here is that AI cannot compensate for lack of a GTM strategy, AI or any tool for that matter. And technology can only multiply whatever exists, whether it is chaos or structure. So it is important for us to ensure that we have the right foundation before we get more tools. So one is strategic foundation, and then on top of that, a tool or a tech stack foundation would be built. So coming to the scaling part. Now, how many of us want to scale here? We want to grow. I need thumbs up, folks. Is there anyone here who doesn't want to grow? Of course, everyone here has come with the expectation to grow their business. And here I'm going to share what the scaling diagnostics would mean. And this is for a sustainable growth that is not a one time effort, but an intentional effort to grow. So, and this phase would come for the business once it has moved from the survival phase. That is, when in the initial phases of the business, anyone who buys a product or services is a customer too. We are growing intentionally, and these are the kind of customers we are looking to get on board. So that is when the market clarity would come. That is, who exactly is your customer, and why should they choose you, and what are the values that you're creating. And we'll go a little deeper in this, but for this workshop, given this is an AI platform, we will be focusing more on the AI part. But just to give you one example, I was advising a taxation firm, and they were talking about how one of their marketing events did not get them the right amount of leads, or for that matter, any leads, because they invited everyone that they knew. That could be, salon owners, or that could be a hardware sanitary store owner. It was everyone. And when we deep dived into their business model and the initial customer base that they had, we realized that despite being a 50 CR practice, their vertical, their ICP was not clear. They were focusing majorly on the manufacturing and the exporters base. So 80% of their revenue was coming from there. But the marketing event did not have a lot of those people. So the kind of talks, the kind of discussions that happened did not resonate with, and there was literally zero ROI for the event that they had. Now, the same CA firm, if you're all aware of GST, what happens is that you have, say, 10 people in your value chain, and if you have to get a GST refund, everyone else under you in your value chain should have paid their GST properly. Only then you can claim that refund. So this CA firm, or this GST firm, had the entire value chain under them. So which was their USP, that no other firm would be able to provide that kind of a value chain access. So this was their USP. And what was the value creation? That they will be able to get and generate the refunds in a faster manner, So you will have lesser requirement of working capital. You will have lesser requirement of working capital loans. You will have more access for R&D, and you can do whatever you have to do with your money, but you will get less interest payments and more access to the money. So that is the kind of value that they are generating. And once all of this is showcased in the right manner, this would give a sustainable and repeatable growth. Now, what is an ideal customer profile? It doesn't have to be only the vertical. It would also be for a tax advisory firm. It would also mean that this would be the founders, or this would be the CEOs and the CFOs of, say, manufacturing firms, and they're removing the pain of blocked working capital. How urgent it is? It is very urgent. The sooner they get access to the working capital, the better it is. What other alternatives do they have? That is other CA firms, or having an in-house other in-house people, which may or may not be the best in the market. And where do they gather? You have to find according to the kind of verticals that you have. A very high level analysis of what an ICP would be. And then what is your USP? That is, what is your mode? A simple litmus test. That is, if your sales pitch or can be copied or applies to your competitor, it is not your USP. For example, one of the coaching firms reached out to me, and they wanted to expand into a new town. Now, when I looked at their brochure and their website, they had everything that the coaching institute adjacent to them would also be able to say. That was premium area, AC classrooms, experienced teachers. But what was the actual benefit to the people that would come? Maybe the pedagogy, maybe the smart work, that students will not be burnt out, the smart classes, or how they use technology. So you would get the gist out of it. Are you with me so far? Thumbs up, folks. Great. Then what is the special value? Like for the CA firm, how are they articulating the measurable outcome? That is, how clearly are you giving that this is the amount of working capital you will be able to release, how soon, and how much money you will save in, say, interest for working capital loans? Then does your message focus on that? If that doesn't, then it is really not a value that you're showcasing. And how is that differentiation? Is it just cosmetic? Or and again, it depends on the business, but if it is only cosmetic, then it will not really help you convert the leads into a client. And then would a prospect remember that insight even if they don't buy today? So this is what happens when you shift the perspective. That is, from send me your brochure to, oh, that is how I should be thinking to increase my sales. Would you all agree? Perfect. Now coming to the tool foundation. That is, these days, everyone is adding AI to their business. And I believe 36% of us actually have AI implemented. But how many of you have a clear use case that this is the part of my growth journey AI is solving? Anyone who would like to type? I will start now. What being an AI first organization mean? Now, what are your reasons for AI adoption? Is it the real productivity and ROI? Do we have a clear use case? Or is it only the market trends and the investor pressure? Now, second one is the economic logic. Again, the measurable outcomes, because the licensing fee would ultimately become an economic burden year on year if you do not have measurable outcomes. And then what part of the growth journey it will strengthen? It doesn't have to be a very vague answer. Say, for example, the tool example that I just gave, it is helping you with the top of the funnel. And then what part of the growth journey is very important? And then the last question, that is this a buy, build, outsource, or ignore? Tanisha will be sharing this framework in detail, but not everything needs to be implemented. And then operational readiness. This is very important, because if you don't have this, then anything with the best intention, with the right logics, will not work. That is, do you have standard processes? if you are reaching out to the same decision in a different manner every time that problem is cropping up, then you do not have a standard processes. So you have to only and only implement when you have standard processes, or for the tasks that have standard processes. Then is your data structured, or is it just sitting on random PCs or notebooks, or the data is not labeled, or it is all over the place? Then are your teams ready to adopt? Do you have a clear owner? If you do not have a clear owner, or if your teams are not ready to adopt, then the best of the AI tools will not be able to help you. And I've seen this, one of the biggest reasons why tools fail, because there are no clear owners. There is no one who is going to use it, or there is no proper training that is being provided to them. So it depends on the nature of your business and the stage of your business, this would apply. Now, one very important question: how many of us believe that we are getting a lot of leads, but only 5% or less than 5% convert? Is that a fair problem statement for everyone out here? Please give a thumbs up. And you would like to improve the lead conversion. Perfect. So this is going to be covering about 80% of the users that have responded to our form. Now the root causes. One is the strategy problem that we just covered. Second is how we are communicating that message to our customers. And then third is a process that is a complete holistic system of follow up, of reminders, of sending the right information at the right time. Second is the sales conversion metrics and cycle. Now, believe it or not, for enterprise SaaS tools, it takes about 11 to 19 touch points for a deal to close. And those touch points are of sales, not marketing. So, for a smaller business, it is much more. And secondly, with the larger organizations, with the complex organizations that we are becoming, and then with the macroeconomic uncertainty, those touch points are going to be increasing over time. So there are a lot of AI tools that help with intent, understanding competition and their activities, multi-threading, and sales qualification and lead scoring. And now with AI evolving every single day, some of these can actually be done in-house by agentic AI. You will not in the near future need a lot of different systems, and agentic AI will be able to help you build in under 48 hours, business hours. Now, this would convert to a predictable sales pipeline, which would make it a predictable growth. Now, this would ensure that the 5% conversion rate becomes the industry standard, whichever industry you are in. Now, all of this is meaning a missing system. That is, you don't have a playbook. Who's following up, when, with what, on what medium, and what should be the next step? A lot of founders in the small and medium businesses think that, am I being too aggressive in my sales? I don't have time. I don't have anything new to share. Do you all feel these questions sometimes? So this playbook would actually help you with that. And then a technology, or maybe just a system that would be CRM. It could even be an Excel based system, or it could even be a local no code based system, or in near future, it would be an agentic system. Um, then the technology, intent, competition, that is striking when the iron is hot, when the person is actually in the market to buy something versus when the person is just browsing what is in the market. Then having the right side set of reminders, the sequencing, and the reactivation cycle, which is very important. A lot of us do not have a system of tracking our leads. It's not necessary that all the leads that come will convert, which we just saw. We only have a 5% conversion. Now, this entire playbook, along with the right set of technology and automation, would mean that you do not have to get new leads every time. The lead that came to you a year or maybe 2 years ago would remember you, and you will be able to deep dive into it, reducing the number of touch points. Often a lot of deals come back to you when they've had bad uh, experiences with other vendors. So they have a recall value when you have these systems of automations. Now, this would ensure that we have a resilient, holistic system that accelerates the momentum, but it still needs human accountability. Now, a simple AI system that can be created for MSMEs without founders being in every conversation, which is a very, very common phenomenon. Now, founders have a lot of decision fatigue. They have to take decisions right from hiring, promotions, hike to strategy, to investors, to a lot of debtors and creditors. Now, that is what takes up their headspace, and it's a lot of cognitive load, and they become the bottleneck of their own growth. Now, we have to think of AI as digital employees, like the entry level things that your freshers from college would do, or a lot of repetitive tasks that early career people would do that you've hired. This is something that can be easily replicated by AI, and Tanisha will give a deeper dive in this. Then this would reduce the cognitive load, which would help us get not only the time but also the mental bandwidth to think of long term strategy. And this would give us some data which was never available for us, like real time competition and buyers insights. And now this all of this together will be able to replace a team of 5 plus 1 senior member. One single person can do that. Now, one recommendation is that do not build in less, and build in less, not all at once. I've seen, especially with some very young MSMEs or small businesses, and especially in the tech side, they try to bring in everything together, and that is deemed to fail, because no, not everyone is fluent in AI. You have not tested the basic, but built, like, without having the foundation, you've built 100 story building, so that is deemed to fail. So it built in layers for about 30% of us here who filled the form with, they don't know where to start in their business with AI. So use AI with simple tasks once the business is fluent. And this is about the business, not only about the founder. Then get the CRM discipline and data enrichment, that is getting the right contacts, uh, knowing when the lead is hot, then getting the entire sales and marketing tech stack. And then all of these need to talk to each other. Otherwise, it's just adding more workload. So they need to have the right integration. You need to be able to find feedback so you can plug it in the thinking partner mode. And I'll give you one example in the next few slides. And only once the organization is mature, you have over 100 team members, then you can get further enablement tools, digital sales rooms, and whatnot. So, an AI tech stack before strategy and multiple tools without integration are just recurring expenses. This is not innovation. So a typical GTM workflow works like this. So, and these are some examples of tools that I'm giving. Nowhere an exhaustive list. Every day the AI space is evolving. So just take it with a pinch of salt. So you get an account discovery, identifying the companies and the people in the companies that need to be reached out to. So there are outputs like you get account list and you get the decision makers for your business. Then target accounts, you would have the target accounts and ICP from say Snap and Apollo. Then you have market signals, that is, you will be able to see when your say prospect has raised money, what has happened new in your industry, that your product or services will be able to serve your clients better. And some of the tools like your website analytics, or some tech specific tools like G2, what your competition is doing, who are your buyers, when are they really in the market, how are they comparing, what all vendors are they comparing. And then you'll be able to find the competitor messaging, product comparison, what actually is missing in the market. So you'll be able to get a lot of intelligence, and most of them are low cost or zero cost. You will have all of this in the artifacts that Neha will be sharing with you all. Then intent signals. So say for example, I will go to a shop only when I need something. Very rarely people like me would go to a shop for window shopping. So that is like, now in an internet era, how would those business realize? So these are the tools that would help you understand who is looking for your products and services, or sometimes specifically for your company or your products only. So you will be able to analyze website visits, competition comparison pages, who's downloading the content, what are they reading, for how much time. Then you will have again Sales Navigator, Lucia, Apollo, to understand who's changing jobs, when are they really uh, going to be looking into the market. So people who get promoted in the enterprises get new technology. So that is the right time. So you will be able to find all of those things from these tools. Then outreach, starting the conversations. So email sequences, understanding when your messages are being opened. So all of these can be done by AI. And eventually, in the next 6 to 12 months, all of these would be done very easily by the agents that are accessible to people like you and me, and not only enterprises. Then the meetings intelligence, we are using about three different meeting intelligence um, tools in this meeting. So they will help us analyze, give feedback, how our pitch was, or if it's a sales pitch, then they will be able to analyze what are the objections that our customers raised, how can we further improve our quality of pitches, how, and they can also help us with lead scoring. Then the pipeline management, that is qualifying the deals, separating serious buyers from window shoppers, and tracking the deals, which would help us in the pipeline forecasting and identifying which deals should we be focusing our time and energy on. And then all of this needs to be automated together. And HubSpot is a good vendor for MSMEs to start with. And then the feedback loops can be provided by some of these tools. Also, if you don't have these tools, even the simple transcription that most of the tools have these days, you can just upload it in Chat GPT, and we'll share some of the prompts that would help you create those analysis better. And then there are some tools like Avoma, which are specifically designed for small businesses, and they're cheaper to access. And you can see real-time sales intelligence if you have a team of 2 to 5 members for selling. Now, this is a simple tech stack. Not all the MSMEs need everything, but if I were to pick one from each category, I have put it here. The cost is all in INR. This is a conversion from USD, so you would have certain description. You will have such these most of these details in the artifacts that Neha will share soon after the workshop. Now, one important disclaimer: I will never replace human judgment by AI. AI will never take the business decisions for me as a business or even as a person. And with free AI tools, always sanitize confidential data. It is important because otherwise it would all be used in training, and sometimes it can be replicated in other formats. Now, a simple prompt, it is nowhere the best prompt in the world, but a structure like this would help you get the detailed insights, especially for some of the analysis where you have to take decisions from. So, for example, I'm a taxation advisory firm that is looking for AI to help me with my strategy. So, I will tell AI what persona it should be using. That is, in what capacity AI is helping me. So it would be a strategy business consultant. Second would be, I will give context about my business, about me as a person. Then what relevant data I will be providing it with. This is just the format of the data. Then the instructions that you have to find patterns. And then with those patterns, you have to define my ICP, my USP, my positioning, and then giving guardrails or guidelines. That is what you have to avoid at all costs. It doesn't have to be generic. It doesn't have to be to use certain AI specific words like quietly. Everyone uses those these days. And you have to give attachments like your data and then expected outputs. That is in what format? If, should it be in a Word format? Should it be in a PowerPoint format? And what material should have what kind of information? And this would give the best of the results. Tanisha will give share in the demo. Now, missing piece to before I hand over to Tanisha, that is the governance. So, if you do not have the governance, but you are doing everything right, your strategy will fail because you will keep postponing. And that is where you need, for small businesses, you need someone external who can play the devil in the room and ask some uncomfortable questions and put everything on track. So this would not only ensure the momentum sometimes, but this would ensure that we accelerate and stay on track, because founders are busy. They are firefighting day in and day out. So the strategy or the thinking work takes a back seat, and we think of doing it tomorrow, but that tomorrow never comes. And that is why having someone to help with the governance is important. Asking the uncomfortable questions. Now, the final principle is that it is always strategy over force. It is always smart work over hard work, because our resources are finite, including our own time, including our own money. So AI can help you be that force and support the strategy. So, and now the kind of tools, the numbers of tools that I've already shared with you is overwhelming, and we all understand that. So, Tanisha will share how to not get overwhelmed and start easy. Over to you, Tanisha.
Thanks, Soumya. I think it was super interesting the way you've shortlisted the GTM stack. Really would say it's quite handpicked. And I mean, the AI fatigue is quite real. I hope my screen is visible now. So, can I get quick reactions? How many of us are really in that AI fatigue and we don't know how to choose the tools? Like, I'm one of them. Every other day, there are new tools that keep coming in the market, new revisions and research. And with all of the founder fatigue, it is difficult for me to keep experimenting. And I would say we do not have to experiment each and every day, but there are times where we need to go deeper into what we are already using. Okay, yeah, I see a lot of reactions and resonance with that. So now, to solve those kind of problem statements, we have quite some tool selection factors and criteria that we are going to discuss, and these are very tried and tested. So I think most of us can adopt this. So firstly, always ensure that the tools that you're using are safe and secure in terms of your data exposure. Every tool that you use usually comes with a manual or a settings panel where you can go and check. If you're confused, click a screenshot of the UI, put that again into ChatGPT, or just consult someone who is already using that tool. Second, the credibility of the tool. Now, the company who has invested, or let's say has built that tool, really matters. Let's say a Google Workspace, Microsoft Copilot, or Claude. I know they are not vanishing overnight with my data, right? If you remember, there was DeepSeek that had come in, or even Clawbot came with a lot of noise, right? But there was some mixed feedback about their credibility. So always do your deep dive before putting in your sensitive data. Third one is very important. Always compare the feature list of the tool with your requirements. If it is solving your problem statements, then it is a value add for you, and then you should invest your time and money into it. And even while investing your money, always do check with what is your budget, and if the tools that you're already using, are they multi-purpose enough? If most of those features are already being provided with my existing tools and subscriptions, then I don't need to just buy subscriptions just because everyone is doing, right. I can always make best use of the freemium versions or even the trial periods, both myself as a founder and encourage my team to experiment, so that in that trial period itself, I can calculate my ROI and make that purchase decision very wisely. So for today, we will take the example of Google Workspace for all the demos because again, it is credible. Most of our data is already on Google, and we are very familiar with the UI and the tools over there, right? But I would say even Claude, GenSpark, Manas AI are very multi-purpose when it comes to solving different kinds of problem statements. So you can solve the same type of use cases with these tools as well. So now we are going to take a three-step approach with Google Workspace. Firstly, as Soumya mentioned, it is important to have your data digitally available, be it your SOPs, brand notes, your profile, company websites. So try to make it digitally available on documents, sheets, Drive, um, in a good clean format. Even if it's 60-80% clean, it's okay. Rest can be done with AI. Second, once you have your data available in a digital format, you can use standalone AI tools to create digital employees. Let's say a market analyst, a data analyst for you, or a customer support agent for yourself, right? So for this, you can use tools like Gemini Gems, Custom GPT, Nano Banana, and create specialists that can be used by you or every person in your team. Let's say uh, your content team or your customer support team or your finance team can have their own digital employees that they can keep communicating with them. Once you have few digital employees ready, you can connect them together and solve entire business flows together. For example, if you have a caption creating team, sorry, a caption creating agent, a content creating agent, a posting agent, you can connect together to create a content team. Similar for customer support, if you have a good CRM, if you have a customer query resolving agent, you have an escalation agent, you can connect them together to create a customer support workflow for yourself. So now let's take example of Notebook LM and we will create a market analyst partner for ourselves. Although we will take example of, let's say, solving our pricing strategy or finding our ideal customer profile, you can easily use it to also create, let's say, a sales insights agent or let's say a content specialist agent. So any type of research can be solved well. But why are we using specifically Notebook LM? A lot of you might have already used it that it is very grounded in your research, which means the hallucination and generic answers are very much reduced because you can upload a lot of your own data and data sources in Notebook LM. So let's see how to do that. So I go to Notebook LM. This is the UI. Every time I start a new chat, it is called a notebook. I'm taking an example of a retail company in apparel sector. So I have already, for convenience of time, I have already started a notebook. I will take you through the UI. On the left side of the pane, you will see a sources section. So over here, you can add wide variety of sources on which you want to do research. It can be even a 100-page consulting deck, a government tender or report that has come in. It can be your meeting recordings. It can be your sales data, your company profile, YouTube links of, let's say, latest tutorials, or let's say some influencers who do research in your business domain. It can be your own older analysis or reports that you have done internally or for your customers. So any type of data can go into it. Although I have added just 19 sources, there's still so much that I can upload for holistic research. So for example, I have created a dummy resource. This is my pricing catalog, my pricing and product catalog, my customer feedback. So if you're running an e-commerce website, you can also add your customer reviews and feedback data from Amazon, Flipkart, or other channels. Then I give it a prompt. So the prompt structure is very similar to what Soumya had mentioned. We first provided a persona. I have told it to act as a senior GTM and provide me insights on ICP and pricing. So I have also clearly defined what it is supposed to do, what is the assignment at hand. And I also added more specific questions that, identify my hero product, assess if I can go more premium. Then I set my rules that you need to stay grounded and you need to use as little jargon. Why? Because I might be familiar with these jargons, but maybe my interns or sales team may not be, right? And then I also give it an example and the output structure that I want. So now with this, I receive this analysis in a text format. Now, great, I'm getting all my pricing validation. I'm receiving more, let's say, expansion strategies and recommendations from it. So this is good. Now, what is the best part of using Notebook LM is that you can very well convert this text analysis into multiple different output types. For example, if I do not have time to go through this report myself, I convert it into an audio overview and listen it on the go. If this report tells me that there are 3 bottlenecks that my sales team has created, then I will ask Notebook LM to create a slide deck for me explaining those problems or giving feedback to my sales team. And I do not need to separately go and create a deck, but Notebook LM will create that deck for me. I only need to share it with my sales team, right? Another example, if in this report, the analysis has found some expansion opportunities to tier 2 towns, and I do not have time to create another report specifically for my investors, I will give a prompt over here to create a 2-minute investor pitch in audio format, which I can just WhatsApp to my prospective investors, or even create a 3-slide deck quickly for me. And the quality is quite pleasing. So if you see this deck, it has created just a small presentation on only the expansion part of it, right? Not the entire content. So I can share it with my investors probably. And similarly, I can also create infographics for this. We'll just take some time. So if you see, it is also taking the brand notes and the look and feel of my competitors and creating an entire infographic, which I can use for my socials as well. So with this, we've completed the demo of Notebook LM. So you can use it for creating sales insights, content analysis, and every, let's say, 15 days to 1 month, you can do a quick analysis of your sales numbers, your customer feedback. Now, next demo is for Gemini Gems. So assume Gemini Gems as like your specialist, right? So this is my second digital employee. First one was for my market analyst. Second is my content specialist. This will help me solving all the writing requirements in my business, be it from customer service front, outreach front, content creation, or even creation of my proposal drafts, coaching my sales team. So assume it as your next specialist, right? And what is the advantage of creating a Gemini gem? When we are just frequently using Claude, GPT, or Gemini, we have to keep writing prompt again and again and keep giving it context. But when I create a gems, it is a dedicated page or chat for one particular business requirement, which contains all my business or the relevant data. For example, let me quickly move back to the demo. This is my Gemini interface. Over here, I will go on to the gems section, and I've already created an outreach specialist. So I have given it a role that you take customer requirements, lead data, context as input, create personalized targeted messages and emails, right? So I'll give you a quick example how this works. So whenever I'm in an exhibition, in a meeting, in my CRM, WhatsApp mails, I get a lot of lead inquiries. In a very vague language, I can just paste it here. For example, I got a lead named Arvind K. He wants to do a franchisee thing in Indore. He's super high priority, but his problems are XYZ. So, write an email, make it sound like us, but not too formal. So this is such a vague prompt, right? But I'm able to do this because I've already trained it on my business data. So it creates an email for me and also writes in the to-do steps for myself. And how to really create it, you will get the recorded versions, so you can follow through it later as well. I name it as my outreach specialist. I provide the description of what we just read. Then I provided the instructions very similar to the prompt that Soumya mentioned, right? But what is the key difference? That I attach a knowledge base as well. So the knowledge base will add all the context about my business. That is my company profile and USP, my GTM and sales strategy, my outreach guidelines. So with this, the answers in the mails will not be very generic, but it will be very specific to my brand and company voice, right? So you will not get very chat GPT like mails or content from this. So are we good this far? Can I get some reactions? Great. So I'll quickly move to the last demo. I hope there is not too much of fatigue. So the
Yeah, we're at
third
12
digital
noon.
employee.
Just giving you a time.
Yeah. Thanks, Neha. We'll move through a bit quickly. So the third digital employee that we will create is a data analyst. Now, this is also, I think, a very good hack, especially if your data is not clean. Really good way to clean that up and do analysis in the same UI. So over here, I will combine Google Sheets and Gemini together. So if you see, this is Google Sheets. All of us have already used Google Sheets. But what is different is on the right side, I have a Gemini pane. So this is Gemini. So usually we have a separate UI for it, but then now Google has integrated that in Sheets itself. So if you see, this is a raw dump of data. This is some leads that I extracted from my CRM or my sales team might have shared. Now I do not have a lot of time and I just need to pick up the top leads which are useful for me and send them emails very quickly. So I can just put a quick prompt over here. Let me share that with you. So I've asked it to create a column H with the first name of the customer. So now I find column B quite clumsy. I've asked it to just create one single column of first name. So I can ask it to do all the data cleaning, like validating my emails, restructuring the phone numbers, or if there are formatting issues in the dates or currency, it can clean up everything, even split one column into multiple. The second prompt that I have added is more of an analysis prompt, that is analyze the notes in the G section. So these are notes related to my lead. So whatever they want to buy, whatever is the inquiry. And then I've asked it to create a new column and classify these leads into hot if they are weddings or event related and warm if they are not. So I just want to cater to those leads which are wedding or event related. So if you see now it's working. And by the way, this comes in the Google Workspace business plan. So this might not come as free. So I've already received my first name and I've already received my lead classification. I will just filter and directly send mails. And the last cool part, I'll cover this quickly. I can connect my Gemini gems on this Gemini pane itself. So I can do my data cleaning, my data analysis, and create mails on one single UI. So now create a mail for Rajesh, who is a hot lead. So just over here, I can also get my mail. And with this, we have completed the demo. Again, it already knows my business context, so I don't need to train it further. Are we good so far? Great. So now we have created 3 digital employees. Now what we need to do is we can connect this all together. Since we have limited time, I will not be going through creating full workflows, but I will let you know what capabilities are. We have already seen that in the Sheets plus Gemini demo, but I can also connect it with my Gmail to send the emails directly. I can also connect it with my meetings to set up a meeting. I can connect it with my tasks to give me reminders, to give my salesmen reminders that, follow up with this lead. And I have used Google Workspace, but there are other tools that we will be sharing, which are equally good for creating such workflows. Now, this was a very simple and no-code way of doing it. You can also use N10 or get an external consultant who can make such workflows for you. For example, B2B lead generation, using IndiaMart and other scrapers, content posting, invoice generation and reminder system, voice-based appointment booking system. So now let's come to a quick conclusion of what we have learned so far. And now today as a founder, how I can start my learning journey. First of all, we have created this learning pyramid for you. We'll start at the bottom of the pyramid, which says that you need to have a good understanding of your business domain and an understanding of your bottlenecks and problem statements. If that is not done, then just adding tools will only add to chaos. So ignore the AI hype and first be fully aware and confident about your business problems that you want to solve. Second, start learning the AI basics, right? What does that mean? Use LLMs frequently, learn prompting and typical basics, and also encourage your team to do so. After that, when you have gained some confidence, start building small tools. The digital employees that I showed you is an amazing way to automate a lot of your mundane tasks. It is very simple and easy to build for any non-technical person, and keep using them frequently. With this, you will be able to understand your ROI and what problem statements are actually worth solving. Post that, you can buy a business grade plan of, let's say, Claude, Google Workspace, or Copilot, whatever your team size is. And now with that, you can connect all these digital employees and tools together and create full workflows. And lastly, I would say, sorry for that animation. And lastly, when you feel that you want to create more customized tools, full workflows on production environment, I would advise you to get an external consultant who can help you with that, because the dynamics and the tools keep changing, and it is important to stay up to date and maintain that workflows as well, right? Just creating them is not enough, but keeping them robust is equally important. In that ways, you can use either like n10make.com to create that workflows, or just get an external consultant who can help you with that. So with this, we have completed our workshop, and we were really delighted with the experience we had, and I hope this was a good learning experience for everyone. With that, we would be starting our Q&A as well.
Thank you so much, Soumya and Tanisha. That was absolutely amazing. I mean, there's just so much information out there, and you guys like really filtered it out to say what to focus on and stuff. And I hope that everyone had a similar feeling about it. Definitely, guys, do get in touch with Soumya and Tanisha. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of reactions, so I guess people did have a similar feeling. Soumya and Tanisha, please get in touch with them. They are part of our AI community. I will also share their contact details after. By the way, while I'm talking, feel free to post your questions on the link that I've shared on the chat, so that we can start asking the speakers in a minute. Soumya has been part of our community for years now. I've known her from the start, and I've had many conversations with her, and she's super dedicated to her work. Tanisha, I've met through Soumya, and I've had some conversations with her as well, and she's also absolutely brilliant. She's now joined our community, so she's available on our community as well. So thank you so much. I will start displaying the questions on. In the meantime, guys, while they're answering questions, please do post the questions onto the link, so that your speakers can answer it for you. So that's the first question from Karishma. Soumya, you're on mute.
So
Thank you, Neha, and thanks, Karishma, for asking this. I think I can take this question. So, Karishma, this is exactly what we do. We have to understand what your business does, and who are your customers today, who and in the past, and then we'll be able to help you deep dive to understand who should be your ideal customer that you need to be reaching out to by different platforms, by different mediums. And once we've identified those, we also have to see what your current outreach methods are, and then what needs to be expanded, what needs to be cut, and what can be experimented. How we are communicating our value, and how are we communicating our speciality, our mode, that is our USP. So it would need a lot of deep diving and personalized discussions. So you have my details, and I'm on the community, and Neha will be sharing the details as well. I'll be happy to help you with this. This is exactly what I do for a living.
So,
thanks.
Soumya, sorry, Tanisha, you want to add?
Yeah, yeah. So I get your point that there are a lot of tools available to, enrich your leads. But even to get leads, there are tools, there are scrapers available. So I can help you with that. Even in my presentation, you can take that back as artifact. I've added an automation where how you can use scrapers to also start getting leads. So all of it is possible. But again, as Soumya mentioned, you need to have very good clarity of who your customer is.
So then, this is something that you mean the average person cannot do without a specialist. Is that my understanding then?
You
Having
can do, but yeah, Soumya, I would want to take that up.
So, Neha, AI can help you with that with the kind of prompts that we've shared or we'll be sharing with the community. But having an external pair of eyes and someone who's done it for many, many years always helps. But if someone wants to start by themselves, they can use the simple prompts by putting in their data and they can get some things. But it will need an exhaustive analysis that is right from who they have served, what their business is, what they are doing now, and where they want to be. So it will need the exact analysis of as is to bridging the gap to where they want to be.
Understood. Okay, so Karishma did message in the chat saying she was just wondering if there are any tools as well for the outreach, not just the strategy. So I guess Tanisha, that's the part you answered.
So also there are tools, Karishma, that is LinkedIn Sales Navigator is one. Then there is Apollo and Lucia, which is very helpful for the Indian context. But again,
Hmm.
without understanding your business, I'll not be able to help you. So we
I
need
like,
to
yeah.
so some verticals would be available in some tools better, or some geographies would be available in some tools better. Like there's Zoom Info for enterprises, they have a lot of Western countries data, but Lucia has a lot of APAC countries data. So you will have to uh, have a customized discussion with someone who knows this, or maybe with AI.
Okay, got it, got it. I'll move on to the next question. This is from Aparna. How to engage, employ the relevant people and interns.
I can take this up, Neha. So, Aparna, how to engage as in I'm assuming using AI, right? So, to get this, depending on the size of the business and the problem statement that we are defining here, we will have to find people using communities like Neha. Neha has a separate job board community as well, or you can reach out to experts like me and Tanisha who will be able to help you. And now you don't even need full-time people. You can get, say, if you have an intern's budget, so you can get some people who are not full-time, but in that budget for 2 hours a day, and that could also solve your problems. So that is called freelance or fractional. And Tanisha does that for a lot of people. So depending on what exactly your problem statement is, you will be able to find people through the community that Neha has.
Yeah, I do think these communities, not just mine, of course, but a lot of these communities, whether it's WOW or entrepreneur communities or marketing communities, they've become the predominant way to identify people to hire nowadays because there's a lot of word of mouth, there's a lot of screening of who joins these communities. So I feel like rather than just putting up a post online, like even at my work, if I put up a LinkedIn job profile, most of the people applying, my employees are like, no, these are not good enough, and then we have to spread the word sort of internally and word of mouth. So I'm beginning to see a dominance in that recently.
Completely agree. In fact, while I was working at GEP, I needed one specialist, and within 48 hours, through these communities, I could fill in that
Wow.
position.
Wow.
Yeah, those are
Okay.
really. And for everyone over here, I too will be starting a community, but for very senior people, uh, like with minimum 15 years of experience, and sometimes that could be 25 years of experience as well. And for all of you who would have these kind of requirements, I will create such a group where you can reach out to me for requirements, and I'll be able to help you with that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I guess so many people are nowadays asking for it. I think we all are shifting towards more, independent roles and working for ourselves and stuff. So I think we're seeing that need for these plug-in roles even more.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, so there's another question from Karishma.
Yeah,
I'll
Neha, I
let you
think I've
guys.
gone through it. I can
Yeah.
take that up. So Karishma, yes, you can do that. But my idea of also picking up Google Sheets was because the context that we are talking about is, sales and growth, right? So a lot of time we have couple of sales people in our team, and they are starting their digital touch point with sheets, with database format, right? So in that case, that might be a more efficient way to take rather than directly using a notebook LM, which is a research first tool, right? So that is why, in terms of efficiency point of view, so for I will just give you more context. If I, as a founder, I am doing a pricing analysis, then I would put a pricing or a pricing benchmarking sheet onto a notebook LM, right? That is efficient for me. But if I'm a sales member in your team, I'm using with customer lead data, I would rather put out on sheets, do some graphical analysis out of it, and then maybe I would use Notebook LM to do some deeper research. Let's say, how can I segment and profile out these customers? So these could be some ways to use them interchangeably.
Okay, Karishma,
I
hopefully
hope
that
it
answers your question. Yeah,
answers.
I see her doing the thumbs up. Yeah, cool. So I'm going to present the next question by Ascend Insights.
Okay, so just like emerging, there is lovable, Replit, multiple tools. Firstly, depends when you're talking about your accounts. If What is the sensitivity of that data? Do you want to expose that out? And you can do that. There are a lot of companies that are using such tools to build custom apps for themselves. But it also depends on the number of users that you're having. So currently, these tools are more like MVP, that with simple prompting, I can build a custom tool very specific to my customer needs, almost like replacing a SaaS tool in some way, a SaaS tool subscription. But the backend database needs to be quite strong. And also, you need to be mindful of how you're prompting and putting up the features. So, yes, it is possible. MVP can be done, but using it at a production level with, let's say, vast number of employees, that could be quite tricky. So maybe we can connect one on one.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Ascend Insights, hopefully that answers your question. Please give us a thumbs up. Otherwise, okay, it does. Thank you. Yes. I'm going to present the next one by Anamika.
Um, so, Anamika, I assume this is for your business, that is the photography one. So, typically, there are a lot of social media scrapers. You can even use something like a Google Alert, which is free of cost. But otherwise, for more advanced ones, for technology part, there are ones like G2. For non-technology, there could be some tools like SEMrush is a good one for small businesses. SimilarWeb for some larger businesses, and SimilarWeb does entire internet, not only social media. And same for Google Alerts, not only social media, entire web.
Wow. Okay. I didn't even know these tools existed. Good to know. Okay, we've got a couple more questions coming up. I'm going to present the next one by Shreya. Do you have a point of view on the time saved by companies by building these digital employees? Even to build these digital employee companies will need to invest time and learn new skills. So how much does this effort offset the time spent in actual lead generation?
A great
Good
question,
question.
Shreya.
Yeah.
So, so as AI is evolving every day, it depends on how in depth your tool requirement is, or what model or platform you're choosing. So these days, I'm seeing Claude is giving even 48 business hours in output of like a Gong or Kaya for by outreach for small businesses. And again, it depends on the kind of integrations it is requiring. So even if I have to take 48 business hours conservatively, I would say not more than 15 business days. And again, it depends on who's building it. So if say someone like me is building versus someone like Tanisha is building, so Tanisha would be able to build it much faster. So it depends on a lot of factors. But yes, it is becoming much cheaper, and maybe like 1/10 to 1/20th of the cost in getting actual employees.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting because sometimes the setup takes long, right? So people get a little overwhelmed thinking, no, this is not saving me time. This is taking more time. But I think it's more like once you've set everything up, how much does it save you? Because, like you said, right, AI takes a while to understand your needs. You have to explain it. So if you don't give the information correctly in the beginning, then you're not going to see that initial, you're not going to see that benefit from it.
Right. And ultimately, it is going to be a compound benefit. Say, for example, when Trump introduced the 300 billion Texas new oil well, it means that 300 billion over 20 years of period and not
Hmm.
immediately. So
Yeah.
exactly, it is going to be a compounded effect.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay, since we're running out of time, there are two more questions. I'm going to display the next one. Amita.
Yeah,
Amita, I
sure.
just
There are tools. Soumya, do you want to take that up first?
go on, Tanisha.
Okay. So if you're saying performance of channels, you mean distribution channels or like social media channels? Because there are scrapers available for both. There are tools which I can share with you. You can find out the exact. So if you're looking for performance of social media channels, then you can create filters. You can handpick the channels, the performance of which you want to analyze, and then there are scrapers which can really tell you when are they posting, what is the format of the content, who their followers are, what is their engagement rate, and you can even pick up that data as is. You can put it on LLMs and do even further deep dive on that. So I have done that personally because this was also a use case that I was trying to solve. So yes, that is totally possible.
But I
She's
do.
messaged in the chat saying distribution channels like Blinkit and Amazon.
Perfect. So even that can be done, right? Your channels like Blinkit, Amazon, even Flipkart, there are like built-in scrapers. There are tools to do that, and you can find out. Although the file that is generated that is in like CSV and data table format, so there is a little bit of not I would say a lot of technical, but no coding of course required, but little technical know-how to how to convert that and start reading that inside. The UI might be a little tricky in the beginning,
I think Claude would be very good at taking in CSV and making them into reports.
Yep, yep,
of
yep.
course, as I mentioned.
I do want to highlight one
Okay.
guardrail here. Wherever there are scrapers available, and if they are free of cost, they will drop a pin in your mailbox as well or in your tools as well. So, for example, if you use a Lucia scraper free of cost, they will drop a pin in your mailbox, and whatever emails you're sending to businesses, they would be tracking those. So, for example, if say I have a free Lucia account, if there is a pin and I send an email to Neha's official account, that would take an intent or an insight that Neha is still with this company or Neha is with this company. So that is how these people increase their database. So whenever you're using free tools, please be very cautious of what is going in because there's nothing free in this world.
Wow, that's absolutely crazy. I didn't know that. Okay, we have the last question I'm putting up on the screen by Supriya.
So for invoicing, I would say there should be one CRM or your data, basically your customer name, invoicing details should be digitally available, whether be it on your mail, an invoicing platform, a CRM. Once it is there, I'm not saying it has to be invoicing platform, but even a CRM is good enough. It could be a free version. So we can create an AI automation workflow out of it. We can fetch the details from your CRM, we can convert it into format of your invoice and it can be sent via mail, WhatsApp, or other channels. So there are platforms like Make and It and can help you do that, or you can even get an invoicing platform. Also, CRMs like Zoho, etc., have their invoicing module as well. So in case you do not want to go into the hassle of building it, you can easily use that. There are also other cheaper CRMs available. So yeah, it is completely possible, along with reminders, of course.
So for small businesses, my recommendation would always be HubSpot because they have a end-to-end everything right from your AEO analyzer. AEO is how these AI LLM models are putting your businesses up. So the and I have seen them becoming better, and AEO is a good way to see. But again, it depends on which geography. I'm yet to get the results whether these AEO are actually applicable only for enterprise businesses or only for North American markets, or they are actually applicable for India as well. But there are HubSpot has the entire tech stack that a small business can use to start with.
Okay, awesome. I have closed the Q&A section, but there's been a quick message and a hands up in the group. Aparna's question is, can AI be used to set alerts for news trends and send it directly to mail?
Perfect.
Yes, Google
Yeah,
Alerts.
completely possible.
Yeah, it's free of cost.
Yeah, I think we can use it as well, schedule tasks, options.
And there are some
Uh,
enterprise tools like Zoom Info. They will give you even when your saved leads are on a real time on your competition's website. It is creepy.
oh my God. It's like a whole other world out there. Itisha has put her hand up. Itisha, would you like to unmute and ask your question or type it in the chat, whatever you're comfortable with?
Hey guys, you guys are doing a great job. Sorry, the hand was up by mistake.
Oh, okay. Do you want to ask anything,
So
anyways?
sorry.
No, okay. Anyways, and I think that's it for now, and we are out of time also. So I'm gonna stop sharing that. Thank you so much to for the speakers. To honestly, it was an amazing conversation, amazing talk. I've learned so much, Soumya, Tanisha. It's unbelievable. Like there's so much information out there, like you said on AI. It's absolutely overwhelming, but you guys have made it so much easier for us to know where to start. I'm looking forward to the tools that you're going to be sharing, and I'll share that with everyone else as well. So don't worry, I'll share their contact numbers as well. They are also in the WhatsApp community, and you can ping them through that. I will tag them after this in the community so you can like say hi. And thank you to everyone who's attended on a weekend on this call. And we appreciate all the interactions. I love it. And it's really nice to see all of y'all doing this and being here. So thank you so much. And I will hopefully see y'all on the community chat.
Thanks, Neha. I think
Thanks.
thanks to you for bringing it all together so
Thank you.
brilliantly.
Thank you. Thank you guys for volunteering.
Thank
It's
you
so
so
nice of
Thank
y'all
much.
to
you.
Thank
participate.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
that you
you.
built. Just
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for joining in today. All right. Bye.